flowers and nature.
We are live.
Okay.
Amazing. Welcome everyone to a new episode of the Women's Empowerment Series. I am so excited and so happy to have you today with me, Tammy Mitzka Crawford. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's nice being here. It's weird being on the other end side of it, not interviewing.
That's right. And it's good. It feels good, you know?
It does.
It
So thank
does.
you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so
I'm
much.
so honored to have you. And I'm connecting. You know, today we have a heat wave. It's like 43 degree, which is like 110 Fahrenheit. And I'm like, I don't know how we can survive when it's a heat like this. And you have places where it's always like that, right?
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. We don't have that here. We've been having like 70 to 80-degree temperatures.
Okay.
Yesterday out on the lake, it was probably like 79. It was just perfect.
That's nice. Very good. Well, welcome, Tammy. I'm so happy to have
Thank
you.
you.
Today we'll be talking about art and creativity and how to use art and nature for your business and to feel good. So, tell me about you. What brought you to be the one always sitting by the other side, actually interviewing others, and how do you add the art into all of that?
So it actually all started a long time ago with a brain injury. So I actually had a severe fall. I was waitressing part-time, for some extra Christmas money for gifts, and thought, oh, that'd be a great idea, but lo and behold, long story short, I ended up falling, waking up, not remembering anything.
Wow.
And after 67 doctor's visits, which did not count any therapy, they diagnosed me with brain tumors. I had severe nerve damage,
Oh my God.
pinched nerves, headaches all the time, which I still do have the headaches. But at the same time, it was like, okay, what are we going to use for nature? And for 13 years, doctors just I felt like a guinea pig. It's like, okay, where do I go? They're trying to fix me, and they use me as a worldwide study. It's like, here, let's try this medication. And then you'd have a bad reaction and end up in the hospital. And it was one thing after another. And finally, we were just like, no, we've had enough. Vacations weren't enough. So we ended up moving to North Idaho because we wanted a place to relax and stuff. And I didn't even realize it, but I had been using art and nature all along for pain management. And, it's like whenever I get a bad headache and stuff, I would go out and work in the flower beds or garden or start drawing or teach art lessons, because when you're doing those things, your mind's on that and not your pain.
That's true.
People forget that. It's like when you're
brings you back to the
present, to where you're like, oh, this is great. Because then you're not focused on your pain. Because whenever you go and you lay down or you sit in a chair, you start feeling everything that hurts. If you think about it, think of it like when you're sick. If you can get your mind focused off of it, whether it's watching a movie, reading a book, or doing something, you start feeling better. But if you're sitting there focusing on everything that hurts, you're going to notice everything that hurts. And so where we built our home here on 10 acres, and we're surrounded by forest and all kinds of trees, and we parked it out. So we have streams and ponds. And so we have our place, and of course we're surrounded by beautiful lakes. There's like over 130 lakes in our area.
Wow.
And so I'm blessed, It's just absolutely beautiful. And so I just have to, if I'm waking up, I wake up and I don't feel good, I just go on a walk outside. And that's the first thing I do. And I make sure I walk every single day, because that takes away the pain. Or or when
You
I'm
forgot
working
about
on,
it. Yeah.
yeah, totally
You
forget about.
shift your mind from thinking about the pain. Yeah.
So it's a positive mindset. Mindset is everything,
Yes.
so you have to shift it, because if you're thinking about everything bad, about your pain or whatever, you've got to find some place to release it.
That's true.
And when you walk out in nature, it's hard to be angry or unhappy if you think about it. I mean, it's like I walk down and you see, there's like a chipmunk peeking out, or running across stealing grapes whenever, or like yesterday I was like showing my husband, I'm like, oh, look at the new baby robins there in the nest. Or like yesterday, we actually, for my birthday, we went out on the
Oh,
lake.
happy
I'm like,
birthday.
thank you. Whoops.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we went out on Lake Ponderay, and we pulled into one of our favorite spots, and there was a huge bald eagle.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we watched it for a bit, and then it flew off. And of course, I took photos, which I'll be sharing later on my
Amazing.
site. And then a blue heron flew in. And so we watched it and took photos of it, and then later in the day we were watching eagles, flying down, catching the
Wow,
fish.
really? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And so, I mean, it's fun when you experience nature and you start noticing all the little things, if you sit still long enough, I've had hummingbirds land on me. It's
That's nice.
I mean, it's just fun. Or like when I was doing an art piece outside, this is kind of a fun story. I was working on this art piece out, and I could hear the songbird. All of a sudden, the songbird flies over, lands on my easel, and sings me a song.
Really? That's
While I was
incredible.
painting. And it's like, what a blessing. I'm so lucky.
You are, because it's and we underestimate, or we sometimes think that just it's nature. I mean, whatever, it's not gonna do anything. While all the healing is actually in nature.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
And it's like people talk about grounding and forest bathing. There's all these new terms that people are using. And actually, forest bathing is actually an old term from Japan. And yeah, we were looking it up, and I was like, oh, it's been around for a while. It's just, I guess the new terminologies came back lately. But I find it really interesting. And sometimes we take for granted what we do know. And all the experiences. And my grandparents both had huge ranches and stuff. So I've always been had huge gardens and flower beds, and it's just part of me. But that's where I've always found happiness,
That's nice.
And not saying it's not work, weeding and different things. And as you notice, we're working on my studio here. So
I
that's
can see that you have all the things happening behind you. Yeah.
I do. So I do normally have a huge, really nice wall here, but we're redoing the whole wall.
Okay.
So hopefully.
And you have that piece of art behind you. And tell us more about that. This is your work, I know.
So on my art, I do 3D wall sculptures.
Okay.
And let me see if you can see.
I can see it. It's perfect. Yeah, this is beautiful.
So it kind of shows how it sticks out.
Wow.
So every piece is hand sculpted and carved.
Wow. How much time does it take you to do a piece like this? It's beautiful.
This piece probably took a month. So now when I do a blue heron or some of my pieces, those take a lot longer, because you can only do 2 to 3 feathers at a time.
You do it with the feathers. Oh my
God. When I do, something like a heron, I want to whenever I create something, I recreate it to look exactly like nature.
Okay.
Unless somebody specifically says, hey, I don't want it to look that way. But all my art, if you notice from my paintings to whatever I do, I try to recreate. And it was because I had a client that I did a 22-foot wall for, which is huge. Yes. And he wanted everything to look real, but it couldn't be real. The trees, the bark, the branches. So, I mean, I made
you recreated the whole, like the scenery from a forest.
Oh, yes. And so a lot of times my pieces, that one was directly on the wall. Anymore, a lot of my pieces are done on panels.
Okay.
So, and then my husband and son-in-law usually are the ones that install for me.
Okay.
And then I go and seam them on site for the customers if they want them seamed, and take out all the seams so you can't tell, where.
They're glued. Oh, so you like you think that's the whole thing that was made on one way.
Yes. And it's, and they have to be specially put up because they are so heavy. Because, like, this one that was 14 feet long, just the top piece was 165 pounds.
Wow.
So they're not tiny.
And how much time did it take you to finish that piece?
That one was like 3 or 4 months. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
because the water, they wanted it to look real, so that's why I charge so much for my art.
But that's true. I mean, because you put a lot of work and you're talented. I mean, you
Thank
charge,
you.
that's your talent. You deserve to be paid
Well,
properly for it.
well, and they're one of a kind. Nobody will ever have a piece like that. And,
Okay.
and I have the most wonderful clients. And, like, they threw a party for me. They were so sweet. It's just, I love my clients. They're always
That's so nice.
amazing.
Yeah. And so what brought you to recreate nature as a way of expression of your art?
So I have done art, and I've always drawn trees. And you'll notice trees are always in all my logos.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah. In your logos and also in your work, in a lot of your paintings.
but in every single one, usually, unless it's, just a flower or something. Yes, I've drawn trees probably since I was 4. I've gotten paid for my art since I was 14. And it was just a side hobby because my degree's actually in fashion design and merchandising.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so, but I've just always loved trees. I love going out, and it's like when I work with clients, or teaching on art lessons, I like them to go and see. So we walk outside, and it's like, okay, let's look at this tree. I want them to go into depth of noticing how it grows from the roots, what the roots section, the base, and how you go up the tree and you see the different the markings on the bark. Does it stick out? Is it smooth? And then how do the branches, do they go wide? Do they go be up more? And then you notice, are there leaves or is it needles? What kind of needles? I mean, there's just the colors, the smells. There's just so much to even just a tree. And if you think about it, trees have so much meaning.
They do.
And we need trees,
We need trees. That's what makes the balance in nature and the equilibrium. We absolutely, that's why, you see, like, it's important to plant trees, and, when one tree is off, you bring another tree, and it's a lot of, there are a lot of activities and movements to encourage more trees. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. And we're lucky because we have such a variety of trees. And like you said, so if one's sick, then it's like, at least you have all these other trees. And so there's not like it's spreading as fast, if you have all just pine or all just fir, but we have pine, firs, tamaracks, aspen, birch, maple. There's just like,
yeah.
We're lucky, so which makes it nice for.
So now, as an artist, what brought you to the teaching sphere and to the coaching sphere? How do you link these two words?
I know it's so confusing, huh? But actually, I was mentor. I've always mentored and volunteered with youth for over 35 years, and coached. And, I didn't even really think about that until I was working with Les Brown and Hynd and Mitzka on, they were my coaches. And I was like, oh, you should tell your story. And then I was like, I wrote my book, The Power of Art and Nature.
I mean, can you show it to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is beautiful. The Power of Art and Nature. I love it. Congratulations.
And thank you. Yeah. And what I did is I created a course to go with that.
Okay.
that book. So I am today, you're the first one. I'm going to offer to any of your clients if they're
Wonderful.
interested.
Mhm.
It's called, let me make sure I can get it. The Nature Art Synergy: Unlocking Forces for Healing, Courage, and Empowerment. And
Nice.
so
That's a
I
big
just
one.
came up with the name. So I've had the
Congratulations.
course
So
for a
told you
while.
this is like new. You're with your happy birthday time. Everything is just perfect. The whole new beginning. That's really
Ex- exactly. You know, Erica, well, yeah, I could teach an art course, but you know what? I wanted to want something to go with my book because I've been really passionate about letting. It's amazing how many people I talk to that have had injuries or they have problems with anxiety or stress and different things. So if I can help encourage them and teach them how to use art and nature for as a healing powers, you know, or and to empower themselves and to find their values and strengths, then that's what I want to do.
incredible. And this is what it is, really. I mean, the highest vibration comes from nature. So if they're able to reconnect and if they can find a guide that will be with them as they reconnect with that high vibration, then they will feel better. But
Uh,
it, yeah. Mhm.
exactly. So, you know, it's like, I mean, we all love nature. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't. So, but a lot of times we don't realize how important it is to us.
We don't. That's true. That's true. We underestimate the goodness that could come from nature because,
Exactly.
yeah, because we don't see the, like the impact right away. But it's just like it's as you persevere in reconnecting and doing that over and over and over, that's when you start feeling better.
Exactly. It's kind of like when you take a supplement or a vitamin and you don't think you're noticing it, but it's when you don't take it that you do notice it. It's kind of like if you
Mm,
don't have the sunshine, you know, you start to miss it, you know, because we have winters here that sometimes seem a little bit longer than they should be.
mhm.
But, you know, sometimes we just like take things for granted, I
We
guess.
do, yes, yeah.
And I'm lucky because of where I live, so I can walk out and see. But if you don't take that extra time and you just sit in your house, you're not going to experience all the things that nature has to offer you.
Yeah,
And when you walk outside, and if it can help you feel better, why not?
that's right.
Or, you know, or create something. If you are inside, it's like, okay, let's create some art, you know, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just
Mm,
learning how to create it and just embrace it. It's kind of like when I was teaching art to a child that had gone through abuse and they had escaped their home. Um, him and his sister were so afraid when I first met them. They were afraid to hug people. They were afraid to do of dogs, you know, anything. And they had been told so many horrible things. They were afraid to make a mistake.
of course.
And when I showed him, like when I paint a sky, I'm like, sometimes I paint it 3 or 4 times. I'm like, and look, I'm a professional and I make mistakes all the time. It is okay, you know. And when we went through it and I showed them pictures of it, they were started laughing. I mean, I taught them for I think 3 years, and they came out. It helped them so much to where they're
Incredible.
interactive with their school. They have 2 dogs of their own. You know, it's amazing to see that transformation, and I love it. So.
That's good. Congratulations. That's amazing because I think what feeds in your creativity and also creating more programs and doing that is, when you see the real results happening and it becomes proof of your concept and your approach. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited to offer this course, and I'm one of those coaches that I like to do interactive.
Hmm.
You know, so we'll be meeting once a week and on a Facebook Live forum, and everything will be recorded. So if they can't meet for some reason, they can watch the recordings and ask questions. I like the interaction, so I'll keep it down, you know, to a smaller size, probably under 20.
Hmm.
Because I want people to get to know each other too,
Yes.
because so it becomes that support group.
Hmm. That's amazing. Well, congratulations, and we will
Oh,
put the
thank
link
you.
here. Whoever wants to really deep dive, understand more how to use art, and feels an artist, and to do that with nature, so that they can feel better and they can thrive. That's
Exactly. So it's like, I mean, I don't know, it's fun. I'm working with a young girl, coaching a young girl right now, and it's to help her to find her values too.
yeah.
And where's she at, and help her with, anxiety and just different things that she's dealing with.
Wow.
And if I can help her, show her through nature and art, why not?
Why not? Exactly. Well, this is amazing. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. We wanted to keep it short. And whoever wants to connect with Tammy, I'm going to drop the link if they want to know who feels like, there is an artist in them and they don't know how to use that and to be guided through nature. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone,
It
for
was
being a
my
guest.
honor. Thank
Oh, it
you.
was so nice. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.